Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus La Soul and I'm back. And I'm going to explain how to use the Midi tracks and the audio tracks inside the 3.0 software, which is in the Force, but now is soon to be in the Mpc. And Quick Strike, he had did a video, and basically I'm gonna demonstrate what he did. So I'm gonna go to an empty project. My sound source is outside of the Force, right? It's the same thing if I had a keyboard or a module, right? It's an outside sound source, right? So I have the inputs of, on the back of my Force is the sound source is coming into my inputs, right? My Midi is coming out to trigger the sound, and the audio is coming into the Force so I can hear it, just like you would do on the Mpc. So what do? Now when you got not programs anymore, but actual tracks, okay, it's simple. So when I open up this project, I'm gonna delete the plugin. I don't want to use that. I'm gonna open up a Midi track, right? And I'm gonna set the monitoring on the audio track to auto, and I'll have the Midi going out of the Force, Midi channel 1, right? Now, because I have the audio track armed, that's the only way I can hear the sound, right? So let me turn it back on. Hold on, let me turn this on. All right. So let me lay down simple chord progression. So 2 bars. I'm gonna put it on a quarter. I'm just gonna program it in. All right. Let's go. All right. So I got my chords. Double that. Halftime length. Okay. So I got the chords, right? Right. So what the issue he's having is if he solos the Midi track, he hears nothing. Well, Midi doesn't, it's just data, it's not audio. So even if you solo the Midi track, there's nothing on play, it's just data. Now if I solo the audio track, which mutes the Midi track, I still don't get any sound because the the Midi track has to be triggered, and it has to trigger the sound source. So if I have it in solo on an audio track, the Midi track is muted automatically, right? Okay, so what do we do, right? Well, one is, it's really 2-3 ways you can do this. First way is whatever the Midi you send it out to your sound source, and you have your audio track monitoring that so you can hear it. You can just record whatever your Midi pattern into that audio track. So now that you have the sound inside either the Mpc or the Force. Right. So now it's in the audio track, my chords, right? Now let's do the thing with the soloing. So I'm gonna turn on solo and I'm gonna solo the MIDI track. Once again, I do not hear the MIDI, right? Because MIDI does not have sound in itself, it's just data. It has to trigger something that has sound. Now, if I go to the audio track, right? The audio clip is not playing. The MIDI track is still playing, but I still don't hear anything, right? Right? And if I solo the audio track, I hear the sound, right? Because now the audio is captured into the MIDI and the sounds that it's triggering is now, well, the sound is triggered into the clip. That's one way. Another way is the looper, right? So let me stop this clip. You can record it into the looper, right? Now with that, you have to put that into an audio clip, right? Export into a clip, clear it out. I personally don't like that method unless I'm doing something else. Or you can convert whatever you did, that audio track that you converted to MIDI, you can now convert it to a drum track. So right here, I have the sound right there. Go to the sample edit, go to chop, and trigger it. Right? Then I can convert it to a drum track, and now I can have it as a loop. Right? You know, or I could chop it up. So I could do that. Now, let's say if you have multiple MIDI tracks, what would you need? You would need to have, for each MIDI track, its own audio track. I'm gonna demonstrate. So we already know, I'm gonna delete this so you just understand what I'm about to do. Okay, copy this over here, trim it up. Right, and I'm gonna set this one to go to channel 2, which I have a bass set up on my DAW, and I'm gonna open up another audio track. And this one, I'm gonna set the same thing, right? So, for me to hear the bass, right? That goes to its own separate MIDI channel. I mean, that particular MIDI sound is going to its own audio track, right? Right? Now let's get the chords so you can hear. Right? Same thing, if I hit the audio track, solo it, no sound. The MIDI tracks, same thing. For you to be able to solo it and hear it, you have to solo both the audio track and the MIDI track for that particular sound. You understand? So like I said, for each MIDI track that's going out to hit an external sound source, those MIDI tracks needs its own audio tracks, right? Same thing if we record. So let's record, right? Right, and let's look at these sounds. Right, that's the bass. Oh, it recorded it together. Okay, let's do this. So that doesn't work. You gotta record it one at a time, so let's do this. Right, so I got the chords, and let's record the bass. Right. Move this next to this, so you can see. So the chords, right, and now the bass. And that's how you get them into. That's how you get them into the Mpc or the Force. So to recap, you cannot solo the individual audio track or the individual MIDI track and assume you're gonna get sound. It doesn't work like that. If you're trying to solo a MIDI track, you have to also solo its audio track that paired up with it so that you can hear the sound. If you have more than one MIDI track, you have to have each, and it's coming from the same sound source. Like I have this coming from my DAW. I have two sounds on two separate channels. Each track needs its own audio track to pair with the MIDI track, right? And to get it into the Mpc, into the arranger so that you can have that sound, you have to either record it, like kind of like you track it out, that MIDI triggering the audio of the sound source to that audio track. So you got to record it into the audio track one. That's one option, or you can use the looper or the sampler, right? I prefer that. The easiest way is just to record it straight into the audio track. You're not gonna have that much delay. The loop or the audio comes out on point. It's not lagging, and that makes it a little bit easier whenever you go and start setting it up on the arranger. So hopefully that was not confusing. Hopefully it was helpful, but that's the way this 3.0, whatever version it is in the 3.0 software dealing with the Akai products. I use the Force, it's the Mpc, now it's gonna be in the 3.0, so it's the same way. So hopefully this makes sense. I'm sorry if it took so long, but yeah, this is how you do it. So with that, till next time, y'all be blessed. Mike out.